The main projects that I'm working on right now are really focused on infant health and female fertility. And as economists, why would we want to know about this? Well, we want to know about this because a lot of recent research in economics finds that the early health is really important for later outcomes. So I would say that a lot of my research is very important for understanding what kind of public policies are good for health. This certainly is relevant with the Affordable Care Act because there's so many changes that are being made with how public funds are being used for that purpose.
My overall hope is that we can really sort of bend the culture of UCF to become a more entrepreneurial community, to try and help more people focus on their own ideas, their own aspirations, developing innovations, and really working as servant leaders to provide helpful solutions to large and abiding problems that people face. We would like to have every student on campus get some introduction to entrepreneurial skills so that they can go forward and have that kind of capability and promote their own career security by having those kind of skills where they can really have an impact.
My paper, which had been published in that journal just a little earlier, had been voted the best paper. So the best paper in the best journal in my field, it was a big deal. And it was especially sweet because publishing that paper had been a real challenge. In that paper, speaking of provocative ideas, what I had proposed, which is part of my dissertation, was that marketing has an impact on stock price. This had been, everywhere I presented this, anywhere there was a finance person in the crowd, this was rejected right off the bat. For it to be acknowledged as the best paper published in the best journal in marketing was a real kick. And that's one of my proudest moments while at UCF.
One thing that impressed me during my years as director was how involved some of our alumni are in the operation of the Dixon School. There's a Dixon School Alumni Advisory Board that was in place long before I came. I just helped carry on the tradition. And one thing that advisory board does is it helps us sponsor and present the Dixon School of Accounting Education Conference. It's a 2.5-day conference attended by over 300 CPAs.
What brought me to UCF really was the idea that you could build a world-class real estate program. There are schools that have tried to build real estate programs in college towns, and while there may be great professors with great intellectual capital, there's no way to bring in top developers, there's no way to bring in top lawyers, even to maybe walk and do real estate tours in the local community. So not only do we have them, they are fully engaged not only with the faculty, but most importantly with the student.
I just went and presented a proposal up in Washington, D.C. and got funded by the Institute for Fraud Prevention. And we're bringing in people from the theater department, communications, the College of Nursing, with a focus in psychiatry or psychology, and accounting. And so we have this multidisciplinary team coming together to figure out how to give our students and staff accountants in the local community this skill building opportunity. All the sorts of things that would be, if you were trying to detect fraud, you need to get good at.
Our dean says he looks for those conversations where we sit on that proverbial log. One semester I had a student, a management student. He came to talk to me, and he originally came to talk to me about principles of marketing, and he was interested in some of the concepts we had been discussing in class, and we ended up that afternoon talking for 3 hours. The time just went by. Those are the types of interactions that are, I don't know, the most fun, the most rewarding in this profession. I knew that whatever university I accepted a position at, that it had to be a university that presented me that same diverse body so that I could give back in that way. And so UCF, with the research and then also the student body, it was a good choice for me.
Our Executive Development Center is unique in that it combines our degree programs and our non-degree programs. We have some of the best faculty, I think, in the country to draw from for our degree programs, and I think that's what we're known preeminently for. Our professional MBA, our executive MBA, our real estate program, and our HR masters. But what most people don't realize is that we can customize and pull from all of this talent that's available here at the faculty level to deliver special programs, either at corporate locations or at our downtown facility.
We have a very good faculty. I think that's always very important in universities, especially as we're now moving into a world where you can have a lot of faceless courses being taught. So we have some quality faculty, and we're actually very dynamic. There's a very strong technological base. I also think that we have a college that, especially now with the new dean, that is trying to use those technologies to reach out to the students, to the faculty. We are implementing it in the classroom, and we're implementing it to communicate.
Two important things that I think students would benefit from. One is determination or perseverance. They have to have the stubbornness, if you will, to keep on doing what they like doing and not give up. And the second is confidence in themselves. So if they have confidence in themselves, that would allow them to keep on chasing their goals. And so when I teach in my classes specifically, I try to show to my students that if you persevere long enough and if you're confident enough that you can solve the problem, most of the time you will solve the problem.
The market itself, due to technological change, has resulted in the ability to collect much more data at a much lower cost. They want to figure out what that information will tell them so that they can make better decisions. And so with kids having these kind of statistical skills, they both know where to look for the proper data, how to manipulate the data, and use the kind of software that allows them to get out the kinds of information that are useful in both, say, the private sector and even in the government.
The faculty here are quite outstanding. We have a lot of top scholars in particular areas, great teachers, faculties that are active, engaging with students in institutes, working with the community. Here at this college, there are people out and about working with the community, working with businesses, working with entrepreneurs, helping to grow business, working with government. And the prevalence of partnershis, I think, is just kind of part of the DNA of this region.
I feel like you have the opportunity to make this place whatever you want it to be, as a faculty member in particular. You always say you should have synergies between your teaching and your research, and that has definitely happened for me, because I created a class a few years ago called Contemporary Tax Topics, and basically it's a tax policy class. I'm definitely a better teacher because I'm a researcher, and I'm a better researcher because I'm a teacher.
It sounds like a cliche, but I mean, if you're not living on the edge, you're using up too much space.